And good morning. Welcome to Hot Seat. I'm Scott Mitchell. A new perspective this morning on the education stalemate. I'm joined by Senator Ally Seifried from Claremore, Oklahoma. Good to have you.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
You're in the Republican caucus. You have gotten already in a leadership position out there, but let's just start with first time in the state legislature, and you're watching the stalemate between the House and the Senate. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is my first year. I worked really hard to get here, had a contentious campaign, but I think that really prepared me well for the type of session that we've had. And so you'll see a lot of headlines, but ultimately the House and Senate and the governor have both conveyed that our priorities are school choice, we want a teacher pay raise, and we want increased funding for education. And so we are discussing how we are going to do that. So that is really the crux of our disagreement or debate, if you will.
And discussing is the nice way to put it. So let's start with, you became the co-chair of the education policy caucus there in the state Senate, it's my understanding. So as in that leadership position, you're watching what's happening. So how do we understand this discussion that you're talking about between the governor, the House leadership, and your leadership?
Yes, so I'll use it for my district. So I represent Senate District 2, which is Claremore, Verdigris, Catoosa, Owasso, and Collinsville. And so I believe that every child is equal and should be invested in equally. And so the big disagreement is how we send those increased dollars to the schools. And in my district, Senate District 2, a child from Owasso would be invested in less than a child from my other schools because it's a larger district. And so that cap is an issue for me. And so I guess if I were to tell people at home, that's the main issue that we're working through, is we want each child to be treated equally, and we believe that they are valuable and they deserve the same level of investment.
All right, so we are headed rapidly towards the end of May and sine die. So I think the question's beginning to pop up, which is, can we get to an orderly finish? You've got this issue plus all the other budget items, but this is the big thing out there at the legislature right now. May 26th is supposed to be sine die. Can you tell our viewers, is it going to happen?
We have a little bit more time, I think, to be able to make it happen. I'm hopeful that we'll get together and talk about that disagreement and some of the other ones. But you know what? I am standing strong, and I can't speak for all of my colleagues, but I think based on our votes, you can see that we're united in this. So we are willing to stay a little bit longer if needed to make sure that we make this investment correctly and each child receives the investment that they should.
Okay, a little longer, which, like, the word would be special session, which causes people to cringe. Do you think that's a possibility?
I think it's too soon to tell.
Okay.
But we will be able to tell in the coming days very shortly. But we have a little bit more time, and I'm hopeful that we can come to an agreement.
All right, you mentioned your district. You have a big district, a lot of schools, large schools, smaller schools. When you're talking to your constituents, what are they telling you about this situation?
My constituents, I've been in constant contact with them, and I've had a really great relationships with my superintendents. I've got a text from one of them right now. And I think we were able to build trust all throughout the legislative process. And they saw the bills that came out of the Education Committee and off the Senate floor, things like maternity leave, teacher mentorship. We did school security, teacher coaches or reading coaches to make sure that teachers have the resources. All of those things signified how serious the Senate is about making targeted investments in education and really trying to solve the problems that we're facing. So we have that. They appreciated that. They see the need, and we've gone back and forth. But I hear from them, and I respond back, and they're in support, generally.
Okay, let me pivot away from that specific topic for a while. But there's a lot of discussion about the next presidential race and about older people that are running for president. You're a new generation of people that have come into the legislature. You could be there a very long time. Your thoughts as you look forward to your career in the state Senate and what you want to get done?
Yes, well, regardless of when you start, you can only be there 12 years. But I am really passionate about workforce. My district is right next door to Mid-America. I've got the Tulsa Port of Catoosa in my district. I've got Rogers State University. We're right there by Tulsa. So we have a lot of economic opportunities. And so I want to make sure that we've got that labor issue and shortage, and I want to be a part of that solution in addition to education. And then I'm also on Veterans and Military Affairs. So I want to make sure Oklahoma is a good place for our servicemen and women to come back home to.
That is an interesting story, Mid-America. We could do a week on that.
We could.
Senator, thanks so much for coming in. Best of luck as we get towards the end of the session.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on Hot Seat. See this again at news9.com/yourvotecounts, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Mitchell Talks.